Okay, so here is a short little tutorial on how to create a module using Google Forms, which might be kind of helpful as we all navigate this craziness. So I'm going to go into whatever folder I have. I'm going to click where it says New. I'm going to click More to get to Google Forms and open up that Google Forms. You want to give your form a title. Mine's going to be an independent project. And when you type it in here and then automatically click up here, it will change. Obviously, you might change it to something different. I always like to put my instructions here so that the kids know what's happening. I've typed some up so that I can just copy and paste it and keep this nice and short. So here are my instructions for the kiddos. So they're basically going to work through this module to complete an independent, like kind of passion project type thing. You're going to probably have some different expectations and tasks that you want them to complete. Mine will be fairly short. Obviously, you can add in it. So, but I've basically told them I'm not giving you many instructions. So sorry about it. You always want to have them put their name. So in the first section, it can just be kind of basic. Let's not capitalize those. Fun fact, I always make the name question required so that they absolutely have to answer that. And I am also going to have them type their teacher's name because I want, when I have the sheet of responses at the end, I want to be able to sort it so that I can share it with their teacher, the whole sheet, and then the teacher can go in and find their own name and look for it there. So let's specify full teacher. Okay. And then basically I'm going to have them, you'll notice that I've been clicking the plus sign to add different questions. There are different types of questions here, and I will use some other ones at different points. But right now I'm just using short answer, obviously, because they're doing their names, and I'm going to do a paragraph here because I want them to be able to list as many brainstorming topics as they can. So I'm going to copy and paste that question there so that they can then, this is going to be kind of where they brainstorm some different things. So kind of the plus side to this is it'll kind of answer as they go, and as they go into new sections they can kind of check their answers, self-check and things like that. So I'm going to, now that we've kind of done the intro work, going to create a new section, and this is where it really turns into like a module because they have to move from one to another. You'll see here it says after section 1 to either submit, go to section 2, whatever. You always want to make sure it says continue to next section unless you want to get really fancy with it, because I did not do that once and it got really tricky. So it was an accident, but yeah, so that part's done. So my section 2 is going to be kind of planning their topic. So I'm going to make it a new title. Let's do refining and planning. Okay. And then we're going to kind of give them a little bit of a description here. With selecting a good topic, I've kind of been as specific as possible as I can be with that for them. So that's going to have there. Then I'm going to put somewhere for them to put their topic, and that will be a short answer as well. Okay, and then I'm going to create another short answer asking them to refine their topic. because, I'm pretty sure some of them are just going to put one word answers, and that's kind of not how we roll with stuff like this. So we'll turn this now into here. That makes more sense. So again, all these are short answers so far, but I promise I'm getting to kind of the fancier parts of this here in a second. Really, this section by section just kind of breaks it up for kids and makes it a lot easier. So now I'm going to go ahead and do a planning web. And to do this, I'm going to insert an image into my question. So you'll see next to question, you have this little mountain option. And you can click that to do photos. Now I've created a planning web in Google Drawings that I want them to use. So I'm going to download that as a JPEG and then insert it. So to do that, you can do File, Download, and JPEG Image so that it comes in. That will go there, which means I can now add it by just dragging it right in there. You'll see also that you can do like Google image search by URL. You can take a picture. If you have photos already in your drive, you can do that. But I like to kind of create mine in Google Drawings and then do it that way. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that now that I have that done. I used to use the Google image search a lot for vocabulary. So I would just type in the vocabulary word and find cool, cool words that came up with it. So I'm going to have them use this web to kind of plan out their research, and that's going to be the last part of this particular section for me. Again, yours may be longer, but you are not, I don't want you to be here forever. So, and this actually is a question right now, and I don't have anything I want them to answer. So we're actually going to rewind this. I'm going to delete. And instead of doing a question, I'm just going to add an image itself. Hopefully it'll let me do that again. So instead of adding like anything that they have to answer, I just want them to look at this image and use it. So to do that, where the plus sign comes up, I'm going to put the image right there. There's a YouTube video, which we're also going to use here in just a second. And then there's a title too, where you can kind of just, that one's kind of useless, but you can use it if you feel like you need to. Just give them some extra insight there. So now I'm going to copy and paste these instructions again, so that they know that this is their example, this is what they're going to do, and they're going to kind of do that on their own. They can either like create one on Google Drive or just kind of draw it out on paper, because everything's crazy right now. So that's my second section. So again, I'm going to add a new section. Again, this is just like a module. You're kind of working through it step by step, breaking down the content. And in this module, you can actually insert kind of documents if you want them to read over them, which is great. So here we're going to do the research. Okay. And I'm going to say, please read the project instructions below and answer their questions. Now, to ensure that they have actually read this document, I'm going to ask them some questions about the document itself. So, but first I need to insert that document in there. So I'm going to go to my instructions. I've already typed these up. They're ready to go. I'm going to click share. And normally it would come up with this, anyone at Radford City Schools with the link can view. You're going to want to go to more to be able to access that anyone with the link. Otherwise, the kids aren't going to be able to see it. So you're going to hit save, copy that link, and just paste it right there. Now, it doesn't link up with the blue to make a hyperlink right away, but it will once you publish it, I promise, so they can just kind of pick it from there. So that's perfect. So I'm going to X out of that now that I don't need it. And I'm going to do a choose all that apply question. So instead of the multiple choice, I'm going to do checkboxes. And here's where it will tell them whether they're right or wrong before they continue. So I'm going to put that question in here. And to make it a quiz and tell them whether they're right or wrong, you're going to go here to the settings. You're going to go, well, first you're going to uncheck this box because that's very important. The kids will not be able to see it if you do not uncheck that box. Then you're going to go to quizzes. You're going to click make this a quiz. And then you want them to see it immediately. You want them to see their missed questions. You want them to see their correct answers. I normally take off the point values, but that's up to you. And we are going to give them their options. I've already kind of done these, so I can just copy and paste them in. Instead of wasting your time typing. And some of these are wrong. They do not have the option to do some of these. So that's why I am going to make it a quiz, and I want them to double check. So now we're going to go to answer key. I'm going to make it required first, then we're going to go to answer key, and they can only do these right here. Now I'm going to click done, and that's going to show up for them once they kind of work through that question. And then I am going to I have an example of what not to do. I actually have a couple examples. So I'm going to do a multiple choice question, true or false. And look at that. It gives you the option to add true or false. So that's beautiful. Here is where I'm going to actually insert that image into the question versus just for them to view. And I'm going to shrink that because that's kind of small. And center it. Okay. Obviously, we're going to put the answer key is false. And then we're going to do this one more time. I'm going to save this image somehow. Well, I can't copy and paste it, so I'm going to come back to that, but it'll basically just be the same thing. So I'm actually going to delete this question and just duplicate this one because it's going to be the same. And I will put that picture of this slides in there in a second because I don't know what I did with that image, but we'll come back to that. So that is kind of how you can have them answer questions as they go through. Then when they submit, they're going to know, those are good or bad examples and what they can do with it and things like that. Now I'm going to add another section, and this is the submission. These are my instructions for that section. So I'm going to copy and paste that. And then I am going to add YouTube videos. Now, there are two options here. You can have them submit a file, or you can have them submit a link to their shared document. Either one works. I'm going to insert the video showing them how to do both. So we're going to copy the URL of the YouTube. I've clicked in this little section the add video URL and paste that in there. This is how to submit files, and I sent this out to everyone, I believe, but this is my little walkthrough of how they do it so that they don't ask you a million questions about how to do that. And then we're going to title it How to Submit Files. I'm going to go ahead and add in the other YouTube video of how to copy and paste the link using the share button for them, and then they can choose. Then I'm going to add a question, and I'm going to drag it because I don't want that. If you want them to just copy and paste the link, so say that they're going to go through that whole process, this video shows them how to go to the Get Shareable link, make sure that everyone can see it, save it, copy it, all of that. This video shows them how to do that. If you want them to do that so that all you have to do is click a link in the spreadsheet to their document, you will do short answer and you will say copy and paste the link to your product below. And we do not want response validation because we want it to be theirs. And if you want it to be the file submission, we'll put it under here. You're actually going to go to where it says multiple choice and you're going to do file upload. Files will be uploaded from their Google Drive, and they have the option to do that, which is great. So you're going to hit continue. You want the maximum number of files for them to be 1, but you want the file size to be big. Now you can not, it's going to create a folder that has a size limit. So you want to change that size limit to a terabyte, which is huge because then you'll have plenty of room for those kids. And they'll just be able to submit, and this video walks them through how to do that. Okay, that would be great. And then I'm not going to mark either one of those as required because I want them to be able to pick. And that's about it. The biggest thing here is that file submission is there. So after they work through the whole module, you're going to want them to create something more than likely to hit those upper levels of Bloom. So you have that option. If you want to keep it simple, inserting the video on how to do things makes things easy. And so you can have them copy and paste that share link. Most of them aren't going to know how to do that without watching that video. So it's nice to have the video to kind of walk them through it. And I've used the video function before for like instructional videos, which is a huge thing for modules like this. Images are really key. You can make infographics, webs, planning webs, whatever you want to do on Google Drawings, and then just download it or find them on the internet, download it and put them in there. You can insert documents like we did here. So really kind of everything they need is there, but they're also getting that feedback as they go along. So yeah, it's a pretty great deal. And, I definitely recommend using it during this time. Thanks.